Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, by leaving 2 comments, dare I say, or by subscribing if you have not already done so. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. There's a lot of news today, so I'm making a second video because there's a lot of news. Not much of an intro for that one. A radical new framework for how to authenticate online identities just went live on the Bitcoin network. What? Microsoft's decentralized identity team has launched the ION Decentralized Identifier, or DID, it says DID, network on the Bitcoin mainnet. This network is a layer 2 technology similar to Lightning, except that instead of focusing on payments, it uses Bitcoin's blockchain to create digital IDs for authenticating identity online. An ID network like ION could be the key to unlocking a web where users no longer have to fumble with passwords, emails, and cell phones for verification, because that is one of the most annoying things on the planet. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if you have it. I'm certain if you're more than 3 hours on the internet per day, you have one of those situations where, like, you got to get an email, you got to get a phone call, they have to know your birth certificate number, and then somebody has to, like, call you and talk to you on the phone just so you can get into a website. It is hyper annoying. They said, we are excited to share that version 1 of ION is complete and has been launched on Bitcoin. We have deployed an ION node to our production infrastructure, and we are working together with other companies and organizations to do so as well. ION does not rely on centralized entities, trusted validators, or special promotional tokens. ION answers to no one but you, the community. That was a weird sentence. This was said by Daniel Buckner in a blog post. So cool. Wonderful. We've had speculation before that Microsoft might have been doing something with Bitcoin, but this was like in 2017, maybe 2018. I have speculated for a while. Speculation that they probably own some Bitcoin themselves, just to, throw that out there. So cool. Another layer has been created, is active on top of Bitcoin right now. I assume this will take off. I don't think there are many other things like this at the moment, at least not on top of Bitcoin. That's a better way of actually putting it. And if this gains any traction, any type of momentum, this will definitely pick up and a lot of people will start using this. Anyway, yeah, so Microsoft has built the ION or the DID network on top of Bitcoin. It is now live, and let's move on. Next up in Ruh-roh news, Optimism has delayed its launch date until July. Optimism had originally planned to go live on Ethereum this month. In a blog post titled Optimistically Cautious, I see what they did there, the team wrote that they had to set a rough estimate for launching in July. In February, the team announced that it had taken on several new hires after closing a funding round led by A16Z. I don't know if that's supposed to be 16Z. The expansion, they said, will allow them to launch on mainnet in March. Before that, March was slated for the public testnet. Now the team has cited the potential risks of rushing a launch, and I'll explain exactly why this does make sense regardless of the consistent 5-year lateness of the Ethereum team as a reason for the postponement. The blog post said that there would be a very real risk of bad actors forking popular projects to defraud users if they went live too early. I heard this in a podcast a couple of weeks ago. It didn't make that much sense to me. I mean, I understood it, but it was still like, okay, cool, whatever. If they do it, they do it. We are now in the crypto history books. This time will be known as the mega hype bubble period. Everything that comes out has a copy of something else. There is a fork of this, there's a fork of that, there's a semi-fork, there's a so-and-so. People making these new blockchains and rename them after the older ones. What's happening is that Ethereum is trying to solidify itself as the number 2 coin and potentially stay there forever. Part of the issue is that there are a lot of people behind the scenes who would love for them to have a hard fork, for them to do something that the community may not deem acceptable. And therefore that these new people can simply say, well, you know what? The older community wants it this way. And then they end up forking the coin. And then there are two Ethereums, another Ethereum Classic, whatever you decide to actually call it. But once again, like I mentioned in the last video, we are at the point where we cannot have this market confusion. We cannot have investors thinking that Ethereum is, has split in half and now there are two ethers. And they may have doubled their money for a couple of days as the price of Ether 3, whatever they're going to call it, ends up going up. But at some point, people will start looking into the market and saying, well, I believe in that philosophy more than I believe in that philosophy. So they're trying to make sure that everyone believes in one philosophy so that they can all move on together. Because this is why we kept on having Bitcoin forks, because everyone was like, oh, yeah, I believe in something different. Yeah, so that's why I'm going to create this Bitcoin hard fork. They said, with a delay, the team said it hopes to achieve a more coordinated community launch. Yes, because I'm certain behind the scenes, someone has been like, well, I don't like it. And these are always cash grabs. 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 Did you hear what I said? Good. Got it. If you ever want to make something that's different or makes a platform better, you do what Microsoft did and you make another layer or another side chain for the main project. Anytime you fork something and create a new fork and say, well, this is the real Ethereum, you're doing it for money. You're not actually doing it to create. If you feel that something is wrong, create a new layer, create a new chain to make sure that the original project you were working on becomes stronger than ever. Anyway, the point is, here's the actual blog post from Ethereum's. It says, optimistically cautious, yeeting the timeline together. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. There's also a spaceship floating next to Saturn. What does it all mean? Anyway, that's the Ethereum news. And also tying very, not even loosely, very directly into it. Oh boy. At yesterday's Cardano's 360 event, IOHK CEO Charles Hoskinson gave an update on the long-awaited Alonzo, which we were just talking about earlier because I thought the name sounded funny. Not that it sounded funny, but I was like, wasn't it Mary and then Copernicus and then Michael Jackson or whatever the other name was, and now it's Alonzo. So I just didn't. Due to the stress testing and exchange integration, Hoskinson expects a rollout now in mid-August. IOHK had previously penciled in a date of the end of March. For this to happen. A 5-month delay hasn't gone down well with some sections of the community. Now, okay. It's not even to be fair. This is just what's been happening for a couple of years. I try, TRYYY, to remain as centered as possible. It's difficult. I'm a human. Of course, I'm going to be swayed back and forth many times. For those of you who do not know, or maybe relatively new, or simply forgot, because I know that also happened as well, these delays are not new. They're not new for Cardano. They're not new for Ethereum. They're not new for any other coin out there. This happens quite often, but this was a major point of concern many years ago when Cardano kept on saying they were going to have this upgrade, and you can find all these articles. None of what I'm saying is fake. None of it is made up. I also hold Cardano, so shut your mouth, because you can't even say he doesn't hold it. That's why he's saying it. No, I also I have Cardano as well. The problem is that if you say on January 2018 you're going to have this upgrade, and then by March you don't, what ends up happening is they say, okay, by July we're going to have it. And then they finally have something in July, but the last 7 other months they were announced that they were going to have all these other rollouts, and then they don't end up having them. That's why I remember when we actually had, what was the last major upgrade for, what was it actually, Shelly? For Cardano, I was like, whoa, they actually did it. It's because they all take a very long time. I have my own ideas as to why this actually takes place. And even more so, this is my opinion. I'm not a psychic. I don't know the future. I think we're probably going to hear about a lot more delays from a lot of other cryptocurrency projects. Why? It is expected or estimated, it's not just me, it's also other articles we've been going over, that October, November may be the crescendo of the rather crazy run up in price. No one knows if this is going to happen. I feel like they're going to start delaying these upgrades. This is me. simply because if they place it and price it at the right time, it'll cause a proper run up. We had so many situations in 2018 and 2019 where companies were releasing, and I mean, like, you want really good news. I mean, like, Fidelity, like, you know, like the really high end Bitcoin news we've been getting between Ripple, Cardano, IOTA, like, I mean, like, really good news. But as the market was going down, they were releasing this news and it did nothing to the price. And I mean zero. We had a day where Ripple had announced, or where somebody was on stage and announced that they had partnered with every bank in India. The coin went up by 4%, kept on falling back down. So that's one of the things that I can think maybe logically this is what they're doing. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't really honestly care because I know at some point the coin's price will go up. However, people are not going to be too happy with any type of delay. The Gaugen phase is the great equalizer in terms of bringing smart contracts to Cardano. It was split into 3 development stages. First was Allegra, I don't even remember that one, which enabled token locking, and this laid the foundation for the so-and-so. Then it was Mary, got that one. The final piece is Alonzo, cool, amazing, which integrates the extended UTXO model with the Plutus. Why are there so many different weird words? Why not just have one big rollout as opposed to, there's like 15 names on this page. During Cardano 360, Hoskinson gave a timeline for Alonzo's completion. He said this process requires integration into the ledger and node code, which is happening now through to April. At the same time, alpha partners will be running acceptance criteria and tests. So the point is, it's not happening. I mean, it's happening, but it's not happening now. Remember this day. And I mean, not in a joking way. This has happened so many other times where we have been told there's gonna be an upgrade on this date. The date comes, it doesn't happen, they go, we need 4 more months. The 4 or 5 more months pass and we get near that date and they go, we need 2 more months. So when is this? Mid-August. Remember this, by the beginning of August. If they delay this again, not going to be good. So that's the Cardano news. All the links here, like usually I open up like another page. They were all just videos of him saying it. And, you know, copyright, yada, 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 can't open them. So anyway, that's the Cardano news. Let's move on. Next up, the Skrill digital wallet, launched by payment platform PaySafe, will expand its presence in the United States by partnering with Coinbase. The largest US-based exchange will provide new cryptocurrency white label solutions to Skrill, enabling users from nearly 40 states to buy and sell digital. I also find that really stupid as well. I hate that because of the whole regulatory space. When you launch something in the United States, it doesn't give you all the United States. Like 40 states? What about the other 10? Why the constant? Yeah. Skrill is a digital wallet provider launched in 2001, offering multiple online payments and money transfer solutions. Skrill's parent company PaySafe announced the expansion into 37 states, geez Louise, and territories in the United States, including Illinois, Michigan, Texas, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and more. And I assume New York is not part of that because New York is never part of it. This became possible after a partnership with the popular crypto exchange Coinbase. The collaboration will enable Skrill to integrate with Coinbase. Consequently, Skrill customers based in the 37 territories will be able to use the firm's digital wallet to buy and sell Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, and Bcash. It says some, so I assume those are the some right there. I myself do not use Skrill. However, if you're a Skriller, is that what they call them? Well, there you go. You can now buy it directly through there. I also like that they have PayPal next to it as well, because you can also now buy Bitcoin with PayPal. The sun's coming out, so if I appear ethereal or light shined upon in any way, it's because of the sky. Anyway, here's the actual announcement from their press release. PaySafe Skrill expands crypto offering to US with Coinbase. Fantasticals. And without further ado, Let's move on. Next up, KiwiSaver Growth Fund, a retirement fund, one of my favorites, with investments worth $350 million, has invested 5% of their total assets into Bitcoin. The chief investment officer, James Grigor, also promised more KiwiSaver schemes with Bitcoin exposure in the upcoming 5 years. He said, "Our KiwiSaver is majority built up through traditional asset classes, your bonds and shares, and they will always be the asset class that compounds over time to give people the best retirement they can." Amazing. He added, "But there's going to be times when it's not always going to be plain sailing." Who talks like this? "You may still have a positive view of those asset classes, but other opportunities present themselves." And here's the tweet from Documenting Bitcoin about the New Zealand wealth manager retirement fund who's investing 5% of their assets into Bitcoin. $350 million. 5%, I believe, is $17,500, somewhere around there. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. I mean, like, actually cool. Like, not like a fake cool. Like, this is awesome. I think it's cool when funds invest into it because you better believe they're all investing. But I like the idea of people having access and or exposure. I hate the word exposure when it comes to crypto, to Bitcoin in some sort of way. I like that these funds will be holding Bitcoin on behalf of their clients so that when these people do decide to retire, should Bitcoin make it, in the next 30 to 40 years, they will retire. They will retire quite well off, if you will. Yay! That's the wealth management Bitcoin investment news thingamajaggers. And let's move on. Here's a really good one. The European Central Bank, or the ECB, has been investigating the possibility of launching a digital euro project within 5 years to complement existing central bank money. But whereas high-profile leaders such as Christine Lagarde have been largely positive about the prospect, officials from Germany's Bundesbank have remained unconvinced. I wonder why. In a new op-ed for the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, ECB board member Fabio Panetta and fellow official Ulrich Binzel attempted to tackle some of the Germans' misgivings head on. They said, and I do quote it, "The European Central Bank is by no means planning to use a digital euro to enforce interest rates that are significantly more negative. As long as there is cash, which they're trying to get rid of, it will always be able to be held at an interest rate of 0%. Fantastic. The idea is, for those of you who do not know, we're currently in a bit of a pickle economically wise, where a lot of governments and a lot of central banks around the world, not just in Europe, are realizing that they lowered interest rates, multiple they're all close to zero, if not negative, in multiple attempts. The idea normally is if you make interest rates lower, you make debt more attractive, i.e., you want to buy that $1 million home? Well, your interest rate is 10%. I don't really want it. Okay, how about 5%? A little bit lower. Okay, you have 1%. 1% is your interest rate to buy that $1 million. Well, fine, I already bought it. Where's the interest rate? That's usually how it works. It's to make debt more attractive. And the lower you lower the interest rate, the more people are expected to take out debt. However, when everybody's broke, nobody's taking out any loans. So a lot of central banks around the world have already lowered their interest rates to 0.25, and they're going to have to lower them even more. Another really big problem with negative interest rates is for your bank account. When you have a negative interest bank account, you know how like normally like you have that 0.05 piece of garbage that the bank will give you, and they're like, hey, here's a penny at the end of the year. You didn't beat inflation because we're taking all of your money. That's them giving you something. When your interest rate is negative, can you guess what happens? That's right. The bank takes money from your account to basically feed themselves. It's a real thing. There are a lot of banks that now have negative interest rates around the world. You can look it up. Type in like banks with negative interest rates. You'll find a gigantimous list The entire reason for a central bank digital currency or a central bank digital euro is control. That's all it always comes down to. This is not a tinfoil hat moment. It's just the entire reasoning behind it. They want to know where transactions are going, why they went there, who they went to, who you send them to, and at what time, what store you were buying it. They say that it's for convenience, but it's always down to control because that's just how things are. Part of the problem is many people have realized that they're going to be garbage. They are going to be a digital version of the crap that we already have with just a lot more control, with a lot more tracking. So they said, as long as cash exists, things will be fine. But the problem is that they're trying to phase out cash. And we know this because many banks have had situations before where they've gone on TV where they're talking about that they are totally for a digital version of their currency to completely phase out money because a lot of governments think or believe that it's better to have a tracking system on you for money as opposed to, how do I even phrase this? They say that they're losing an enormous amount of money every single year who may not be paying taxes who are paid in cash, i.e., let's say you're already broke. You don't have much money. You figure out on the side, you can clean somebody's windows, you can clean cars, maybe make an extra few bucks. They want a piece of that. And the idea is that this, according to them, is happening so many times around the world that they got to get it in check. And how do they get it in check? By making everything digital. Because at that point, everything you do, they know where you bought it from, at what time, so and so and so. And even more so, there have been discussions before about central bank digital currencies where in that we see situations where if an economy is not doing very well, we already have this right now with a normal banking system. If a bank is not doing well, if a bank crashes, everything completely falls apart, you know what banks are actually allowed to do? They're actually able to freeze your accounts and take the money to save themselves. It's somewhere written in the clause, and they've all done it before. Why do you think we had the entire Wall Street protesting in 2009? Do you think it was because people were like, I feel like protesting. Should we protest today? No, they were angry. This was happening all around the world. It just happened, what was it, like half a year ago in, was it Beirut? Can't remember the name of the country. I believe it was Lebanon. No, it was Lebanon. So, I love the discussion that no, what? That would never happen. Yeah, that's exactly where we're headed. I am hopeful, as it were, that people continue to figure out and find out what Bitcoin is. I hope that people continue to get into the space and understand what it means to have cash, money, value available to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on a network that has not crashed. It's very, strong and robust, if you will. Anyway, Panetta in Bencel's comments picked up directly on the Bundesbank's previous suggestion that a digital euro could be catastrophic for savers. I wonder why. Because you're incentivized to spend your money. People have their money in the bank because they go, okay, at least I'm getting a little bit of money every single year from the bank, which is nothing. It's a penny. But if it's negative and you know that you are mathematically losing money every single year, what do you do with your money? I don't want to keep losing it. I don't know where else to put it. You spend it. It goes back into the economy, back into the stores that are already owned by the banks, and it creates a circle where you have nothing over and over and over, except for the larger people who know how to invest, and they invest their money into other things that actually outpace negative inflation. And anyway, you get the point. So here's the actual thing right here. Rather than this is actually something else, just to more so explain to you about the negative interest rate thing. It says German banks expanded their lending business during the negative interest rate period. Incredible. Norway's central bank cuts rates again to curb the hit from the thing that we've been going through. The Bank of England tells banks to prepare for negative interest rates. Policymakers said they have no plans to introduce negative rates, sure, to stimulate the economy, but they want to be prepared. Hey, put on your parachute. Why? Just make sure you're prepared. But my parachute, yeah, just in case the plane, stops flying in the air. Why negative interest rates are still not working in Japan? Anyway, they're here. They're coming even more to other banks. So educate yourself as always and just be prepared. And to finish things off, Cboe, Global Markets Incorporated, may be ready to dive back into Bitcoin futures after a couple of years away. Fantastic. The Chicago-based exchange giant became the first in the US to launch Bitcoin futures in December 2017 and subsequently caused our market to crash because they were allowed to launch futures, which allowed them to bet against Bitcoin, and then the prices fell when the coin was around $17,000. Cboe later halted Bitcoin futures in 2019 following a major sell-off that saw the largest digital currency fall below $4,000. I wonder what caused that. They said, "We're still interested in the space. We haven't given up on it. There's a lot of demand from retail and institutions, and we need to be there." Investor interest in digital assets have returned in full force over the past year as institutional adoption has grown. Elon Musk, Tesla, Morgan Stanley, New York Mellon, Citibank, you've heard all the things. The news is that the Cboe is trying to get back into the Bitcoin future space. It's going to be garbage because it is probably going to be US dollar based. I have a feeling they're not going to be doing any type of physical Bitcoin futures anytime soon. And it says that they've also joined the... Here we go. They've also joined the list of people trying to get a Bitcoin ETF. It's the Cboe, it's Van Eck, Wisdom Tree, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley, and there's one other company who's also trying to do it as well. Phantasmagorical. Anyway, that's the Cboe news. Why not? I expect, I'm shocked that they haven't already gotten into the market. They might be afraid that people just might not use them because there are so many other platforms. I think even Binance's futures is, I think, one of the most popular ones. It's really, where'd the sun go? It's one of the most popular ones on the planet. So anyway, that's the Cboe news. May, wink, relist Bitcoin futures. I'm pretty sure you don't go on TV talking about something that you're just not going to do. Anyway, I do hope you all enjoyed. The cryptocurrency market is looking like good weird, if you kind of want to say that. At the moment, Bitcoin is up by 3.6%. Fancy. It just went up a little bit. It is near a $1 trillion market cap once again. Ethereum is up by 3%. Binance coin is down by 6.9. Cardano is up by 10. You see where the news came out that there's going to be a delay. Just stop the delays. You know what? Don't announce that you're going to do something until you know that it's going to come out, because the whole hype period is not too nice for people. Polkadot's up by 7. XRP is up by 12.4. The only XRP news that I've seen is people speculating that crypto exchanges may soon relist XRP. My hopes are pretty low for that. However, a lot of believers. Litecoin's up by 4. Chainlink is up by 4. Lumin's is up by 4. No, I'm joking. It's up by 7. Luna's up by 14.5. It's nice. It's nice to have a green day, if you will. Filecoin is up by 10%. Unicorn is up by 7. VeChain Thor is up by 10. Aave is up by 13. Big difference from even like 2 hours ago from the last video. Tron is up by 16. You get the point. Very nice. Anything like crazy, like up by like 99%? Yeah. Oh, there goes Pancake Swap. Pancake Swap is up by 27%. Nonsense, cryptocurrency market stuff. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.